Hello, I'm Mo, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my own personal menopause story. I've been a sex therapist for about 20 years. I am a published author, and I'm also an advocate for helping people make better connections, get informed, and get more creative. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my journey into menopause and how I came to this place of being my own expert on my own health issues and healing my inflammation. I guess this is more of a healing my inflammation story, because with menopause and with perimenopause and menopause, I experienced a lot of inflammation and, changes in my body. And I think it's important to talk about it. I don't think that there is a lot of conversations happening. I think there's definitely more than when I was coming up, people talking about menopause and things like that. But I want to tell you my story just so that we can start dismantling some of the false things that we've sort of learned and have grown up with. So I'm 52, and I started my menopause journey in my early 40s. And let's start at the age of 40. This is a good place to start. I went and saw a naturopathic doctor for the first time. I had seen a Chinese herbalist in my 20s because I have these white spots on my skin. It's called vitiligo. I have them just kind of sporadically up this arm, and I've got some on my neck as well. Well, you can't really see it. There it is. So yeah. Anyway, I, at the age of 40, I, was like, maybe I'll go see a naturopathic doctor. I actually had a friend who's a naturopathic doctor that worked in the same office as me. And I was like, I'm going to go see her. And we sat down and we chatted, and, I told her about my vitiligo, and she basically, after we talked, she was like, she of course told me to get on some vitamins and basically encouraged me to potentially pursue a 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, she said, just do no grains for 2 weeks and see how you feel. It was like no grains, no alcohol, something like that. No sugar. So what could I eat? I could eat vegetables, all the veggies I want, and I can eat meat. And she encouraged me to eat like grass-fed beef, bison, chicken, things like that. And she encouraged me to just cut the grains out for 2 weeks, grains as well as like legumes, beans, and things like that, and see how I felt. Now, I will say I was somewhat familiar with this type of eating because I will say in my mid-20s, in like 1999 era, early 2000s, I did the Atkins diet, which was like a very low carb diet, and lost a ton of weight, felt really good, but wasn't doing it very healthily. I was in my 20s, and I was I was just kind of, I wasn't cooking my foods. I was working at a corporate music and tech job. So I was eating out a lot, so I would get a hamburger and just take the bun off and, go through the drive-thru and just take the bun off and eat it. So I was eating a lot of stuff like that. So I didn't think that was very healthy. Well, so fast forward to when I'm 40, and my naturopathic doctor encourages me to go grain-free, alcohol-free, kind of like sugar-free, for 2 weeks, legume-free for 2 weeks. And so I try it. At the end of the 2 weeks, I called her up and I said, hey, Patty, Dr. Patty, I feel great. And she said, well, good. If you feel great, you're more than welcome to keep doing what you're doing. And, I lost a lot of weight. I just started to feel so much better. And I will preface this by saying I was drinking pretty much every weekend at the time. So every weekend would come and I would drink. And then when I would drink, the day after, if I was hungover, I would be binging on some sort of like carbohydrate, pizza, Taco Bell, whatever. So, you know, that wasn't every weekend. A lot of times things would go really good for several weeks, and sometimes I would have some drinks and not have to binge on like foods like that. Well, fast forward to let's say I'm about, so that was when I was 40. So let's say when I'm about 44, 45, I went and got some labs done at a doctor in LA. And he basically told me that I was having some kidney issues. Now, in hindsight, I was probably having kidney issues because I was drinking a lot of coffee and drinking a lot of alcohol and partying, you know, maybe using some recreational drugs and whatnot. So, but he sat me down and he told me, you know, these high protein diets can do this to you. So I got off the high protein diet 100%. I literally left the doctor's office that day, and I think I went to Trader Joe's and I bought cake. I literally was like, okay, well, if I'm doing this, I'm gonna eat cake. Well, for the next few years that followed, I proceeded to gain weight. I was exercising. I was going on hikes like 3 times a week. I was going to the gym. I was doing weights. I was like, I'm just going to eat everything and just exercise a lot. That's what people do, right? Well, that actually, and then of course I started going through menopause, probably, I mean, during that time it was definitely perimenopause. I didn't go through menopause to my late end of my 40s, early 50s. I'm 52 now. So, just went through it recently, and I gained a lot of weight. And I want to back up here. I didn't feel good in my body. I wasn't feeling great. I was bloated a lot and puffy. And so I was doing these like back and forth kind of yo-yoing. Sometimes I would just cut the carbs back out just to lose a little weight, and then I would start bringing them back in. Cut them out, bring them in. So it was like basically yo-yo dieting. And then I will definitely say I learned about the keto diet. And so I would go a couple weeks doing keto, and then I would lose a lot of weight. And then I started eating like keto snacks that you can buy at the grocery store. Yeah, they're made with like fake sugar. Yeah. So, you know, I did a lot of yo-yo dieting. I will definitely say when I cut out the processed foods, I would feel a lot better. And then I started noticing that little things would make me bloated. Sometimes I wouldn't even know what it was, right? Like just bloating here, bloating there, bloating here, bloating there. A little, and I would notice it. Other people wouldn't notice it. You wouldn't even be able to tell, but boy, could I notice it. No, you definitely need to be wearing a bra. So I finally found my way back, and I'll tell you how I did it. I found Primal Broad and got introduced to ancestral eating, and now I eat, 100%. It's like a non-inflammatory diet. Like I know which foods cause inflammation and I don't eat them. And I know what causes inflammation in my body, and it does not enter my body anymore. But it took me a long time to figure that out. And certainly with the help of Candy Frazier and the Primal Bod program, which I'll link to down below. If that's something of interest to you, you can certainly check it out. I can give you a $100 off. So check, in the caption down below. I'll plug that in. But ancestral eating is the way that our ancestors used to eat, and it's not for everyone. But it definitely worked for me, and it worked for my menopause symptoms, and it's helped me get back to really believing that I can trust my own body. And this is kind of like a piggyback on the last video that I did about like, how do we get to a place where we can trust our own bodies, where we know what our body wants, what our body needs, what's going to make it inflamed, what's going to be bad for it. Like, how do we get to that place? And then, like, I think that a lot of people don't listen. We're not listening to our bodies. Like, we're not being intuitive when it comes to what does our body need, when is our body full. We are stuck in a lot of us are stuck in like a dopamine cycle where we're just feeding our body what we think it wants, because we're really doing a lot of emotional eating. And so as a therapist and someone who has been on this journey themselves, I'd like to help empower people to really become focused on healing your body, but also more important than healing it is coming to understand it, trust it, know it, and be in it. Give it what it wants. Give it what you know your body wants, not what your brain or ego wants, but what your body really needs, the nourishment that it really truly needs. And to know, almost immediately, I'll know if I've eaten something that my body doesn't like. Like if I have a little piece of gluten, I will know immediately something's not right. I'm puffy, or I'll feel like inflamed, or, maybe I'll feel hot or something like that. Like when I'm not inflamed, I feel great. My rings fit, little things like that can be really, 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 truly, truly frustrating for so many women as they go through menopause. Menopause is a difficult time on our bodies, and we live in a culture where there is so much information out there that the only thing that you can really trust is yourself. But how do we quiet everything after years and years and years of diet conversations and all of these, types of things? So, in very much the same way, I talk about this all the time, like, how do we create art? How do we become the artist that is inside of us? It's the same thing. We've got to tap into those little voices. We've got to be able to tap into the feelings in our body. I do a lot of somatic work with my clients, and that's what it's all about. It's learning what your body wants and what your body needs. And, I've stopped trusting the doctors. I have gone to the doctor several times, and they'll want to put me, every time I go, they want to put me on some sort of medication. And every time they do that, I come home and I have a little chat with myself, and it's like, that's not what my body wants. My body doesn't want to be put on any kind of medication. Not at this point. I'm a healthy 52-year-old woman. I don't need to be on medication. But my doctor keeps wanting, every time I have some sort of ailment, put me on a medication. And that was before this year. This is pre-52, because this is a year that I got really serious about my body and my health. But in previous years, it was like, that's, get on this hormone, get on this, we can put you on this. And that was a recipe for disaster for myself, because again, you're yo-yo eating, yo-yo pilling, it's yo-yo everything. And it covers one symptom, but that symptom is going to start expressing itself somewhere else, right? So they're suppressing, but expressing elsewhere. It's not the solution. It's not the answer. And it'll work for a short time, maybe it'll work for a year, maybe it'll work for 6 months, but then the issues come back. They're not actually solving themselves. So becoming more in tune with your body is the key to not having to be at the whim of the doctors or these prescription medications. Get in touch with your body. feed it what it wants, and how do you do that? You eat the right foods, work with a nutritionist if you can. I highly recommend Candy Fraser. I'm going to put her information down below. And get healthy emotionally and physically if you can.